This was never just a delay. It was a divine diagnosis of your destiny. They told you it was failure. Heaven called it forging. They said you missed your chance. God said, now you're ready. Was it rejection, or was it redirection? Was it silence, or was it sacred strategy? The places where you bled in secret were the exact altars where heaven began building your crown. You, chosen one, have passed every hidden test. And now, the breakthrough is not coming. It's here, but stay. Because before this scroll is sealed, you will understand why certain doors never opened, why the people you loved walked away, why the fire didn't kill you. It qualified you. Here at Chosen One's Prophecy, the hidden are revealed, the marked are gathered, and the scrolls of the remnant are unsealed. As it was with Joseph, thrown into a pit, accused without cause but raised to power at the appointed time, Genesis 50:20 declares, "You meant it for evil, but God turned it for good." This is your Genesis 50 moment. The betrayal didn't break you. It birthed the breaker anointing within you. So stay, because the signs that are about to unfold may explain your entire life. You were marked in the spirit realm. Before anyone saw you, heaven marked you. Before you ever opened your mouth, the spirit realm recognized your voice. You were not simply born. You were sent. The pattern began early. Rejection without cause. Attacks before success. People resenting your light long before you knew you had one. This wasn't karma. This wasn't random. This was the evidence of selection. And hell saw it before you did. Even as a child, you carried weight you couldn't explain. You knew things you were never taught. You saw truths others called strange. Like David in the field, overlooked by man, anointed in secret. You were always set apart, even when you tried to blend in. You weren't delayed. You were disguised. Heaven had to hide you until the oil was ready. Your life has always been under surveillance, not by man, but by darkness trying to stop what it sensed was coming. The proof that you are chosen is not how easy your life has been. It's how many times you've survived what should have destroyed you. But what if the attacks weren't the enemy's strategy? What if they were heaven's confirmation? The wilderness was the training ground. Chosen ones are not launched. They are buried. Obscurity is not punishment. It is preservation. God hides his greatest warriors in the wilderness, not to punish them, but to prepare them where no one else can reach. You felt forgotten, but you were being formed. In silence, you learned the sound of God's whisper. In rejection, you learned the weight of truth. When no one clapped, your heart still burned. That's where the fire got real. Just as Moses was exiled to Midian before returning to Egypt in power, you too were pulled out of everything familiar so that nothing man-made could cling to your mantle. The silence wasn't absence. It was divine surveillance. God was watching how you carried pain in private, and you passed. You didn't curse the wilderness. You became the voice crying in it. And now the same God who led you in is calling you out. But will you answer? The fire didn't burn you, it revealed you. Fire does not come to decorate, it comes to distill. You lost what you thought you couldn't live without, only to discover who you truly are. Betrayal was your teacher. Loss was your altar. Pain became the forge where heaven hammered purpose into your bones. You wept. But while you wept, God was welding something inside you. Like Joseph thrown into a pit, you were dropped into darkness. But prophecy doesn't dissolve in pressure. It awakens. The fire didn't break you. It branded you. Every loss branded you with oil. Every no prepared you for the ultimate yes. And just like Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, you weren't alone in the fire. There was a fourth form, and he made you flame-proof. You came out not even smelling like smoke, because the fire wasn't sent to destroy you, it was sent to announce you. The danger of delayed obedience. There is a cost to being chosen. And there is a cost to delaying the response. Too many ignore the signs. They bury the dream. They settle for comfort and call it wisdom. But chosen ones aren't just called to believe, they are called to obey, even when it costs everything. Jonah ran, and a storm followed. Delayed obedience delayed the assignment, but grace brought him back. Every ignored instruction becomes an extended wilderness. Heaven doesn't force, it invites. But if you keep postponing your yes, you risk aborting what generations have prayed for. What if your obedience was the bridge for someone else's breakthrough? Darkness. Confrontation. Why hell targeted you. Early, the warfare wasn't a coincidence. It was a signal. Hell does not attack the irrelevant. Demons don't waste resources on the unmarked. You were hit early because you were seen early. Your childhood trauma, the strange opposition, the sabotage from those closest to you. These were not mere misfortunes. They were targeted strikes meant to crush the prophecy before it could speak. Just as Pharaoh tried to kill the Hebrew babies, just as Herod tried to slaughter every male child. You too were almost taken out before your voice was ready. The greater the threat, the earlier the attack. You've been wrestling with things that others never had to fight, because you carry what others were never trusted with. But here you are, still breathing, still burning, which means what hell feared is now fully alive. You carry authority, not just awareness. You don't just sense the spiritual, you shift it. You carry keys born from fire, keys forged in tears. This is not intuition, it's inheritance. Luke 10:19. I have given you authority to trample on snakes and scorpions. You've been walking around like you're still being tested, but heaven is saying, you've passed. Now walk in it. This is not a test. This is your transfer of power. Speak, and chains will break. Move, and atmospheres will shift. Declare, and the heavens will respond. But do not doubt your rank. You were authorized by fire, and now you are released by scroll. If this resonates, comment 4444. Now as a prophetic sign you are still listening and receiving, because the next section is where your mantle becomes movement. Heaven is now, releasing the assignment. The scroll is opening. The words are not new. They were written in you. The time of dormancy is over. Instructions will come swiftly now. Dreams will clarify. Voices you silenced out of fear will roar again. Like Esther, the moment has come to step forward and say, "If I perish, I perish." But heaven will not let you fall. The assignment isn't optional. It's a blood covenant. You are here to interrupt bloodlines, to realign timelines, to rebuild what others allowed to burn. You are the repairer of breaches, the restorer of ruins. Isaiah 58:12. God is commissioning you, not just to rise, but to release something that only your voice can carry. What scroll is burning in your bones? The remnant is rising, and you are not alone. You are not crazy. You are not isolated. You are not the only one feeling the tremble beneath your feet. The remnant is rising. Across the globe, others like you are waking up. Prophets in hoodies, intercessors in boardrooms, warfare survivors turned kingdom builders. The hidden are being revealed. And together, you form a body of brilliance hell cannot contain. You are not just one. You are part of the 7,000 who never bowed. Find your tribe, guard your oil, and walk like your obedience matters, because it does. The sound of your voice is part of a global echo. What you carry must echo. You were never meant to keep this to yourself. The oil was for you, but the overflow is for generations. Your breakthrough is not a reward, it is a responsibility. There is someone, somewhere, waiting on the sound you've been afraid to release. But now, the scroll is open, the mantle is activated, and the oil will flow. What you release will ripple through bloodlines. It will awaken destinies buried in silence. You carry a sound, and it's time for it to echo. Let it begin now. You weren't just walking through delay, you were walking through divine encryption. Heaven hid your name in plain sight, not to deny you but to preserve the prophecy attached to your life. What they called wandering, God called warfare training. What they called over, God called initiation. You were never waiting for the breakthrough, you are the breakthrough. Chosen one, you passed every unseen test. The silence didn't steal your voice, it strengthened your sound. The fire didn't consume you, it crowned you with oil. The rejection didn't remove you, it revealed you. And now the scroll is sealed, the mantle is resting, the assignment is active, you have been marked, you have been forged, and now you are being sent. If you feel this word branded something eternal in your spirit, comment 797 below as a sacred sign of confirmation. Let your voice be heard in the company of the rising remnant. Share what pierced you, what line stirred your bones, what moment felt like heaven remembering your name. Subscribe to Chosen One's prophecy and stay connected to this sacred assembly, because the remnant is rising, and you are part of the sound. You are not alone. You are the next echo.